Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of the podcast where we sit down with some of the sharpest minds in the management consulting industry. This episode is powered by Clubhouse AI. At Clubhouse AI, we help management consulting firms break free from outdated lead gen methods like networking events and referrals, which often feel more like wishful thinking than a real strategy. Our battle-tested, data-driven client acquisition system brings in your ideal clients with no chasing, no guesswork, just predictable compounding growth. If you're in the management consulting industry and you're looking to scale your business and see results within the first week, DM us the word growth for a free consultation. And now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Today, we have a very special guest who is David Lynn, the president of Peak Safety Performance. Thank you so much for being here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story and what you do?
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to your podcast. I'm David Lynn. I work with Peak Safety Performance. We're a consulting company that does a lot of training and video production. But my career in safety started back in 1992 as an OSHA compliance officer. And from there, I got into safety, obviously, and learned a lot. And after a few years, I went to work in manufacturing for Duracell, making AA and AAA batteries. And I spent about 5 years in that environment, in a very fast-paced environment as an environmental health and safety person. And then I got to go to Owens Corning and help build a plant and start it up, operate it, and get a taste of construction at that point. And then probably around 2004, I went to work in a corporate role, safety role for Fluor, which is a global company that builds refineries, power plants, roads, bridges, a lot of Department of Energy work, things of that nature. And then after that, I'm rambling a little bit, but that's when I started Peak Safety in 2015, and that's how I jumped into the consulting game.
Awesome. So Peak Safety is your business then.
Yes, Peak Safety is my business.
Awesome.
We're been in business for 10 years now.
What inspired you to be an entrepreneur and start your own business?
Well, at the time, I when I was started consulting, I worked with another firm for a little while. It didn't work out, and when it was time to kind of transition into some other roles, I did not originally plan on being owning a company and being a business owner like this. But in 2015, I didn't have a lot of options at that point. I had planned to go back to work for Fluor, and that didn't work out with timing, and so. I started trying a few things with the consulting side. I had two strong clients that kind of started me off where I had some consistent income in those first few months. And then from there, we just started building.
Awesome. That's amazing. Love the stories about entrepreneurs and how they got started. So that's awesome. It's good for you. And now that you're the president, you're the founder of the company as well, what's your bigger role within the company? What does your day-to-day look like?
Well, in a small company, you ended up doing it all anyway. So I've learned that in a small company, about 75% of your time is spent chasing work, trying to get the work, and the other 75% is doing the work. So, the math doesn't add up there. So you end up doing a lot of stuff all the time. But overall, our goal is to kind of follow the current where the market takes us and start trying to build on the strengths and talents that we have within our organization. And so if we follow market trends and what people are asking us for, but also use the people we have to help us, I think that help. That's kind of my generic, kind of broad goal and perspective.
Awesome. Yeah, and speaking of trends, a major one has been AI and helping business with the people do business and all that sort of stuff. How has AI impacted the way you guys do business?
Oh man, that's a great question. AI, I'm an old school guy, so when you say AI, it's a little scary. It doesn't. I don't quite understand it all, but that's where I was mentioning that we have a couple guys that are really good at that in that arena, and so about 2 years ago, we started playing around with how to use AI in our industry in safety, and so it started with the thought with, well, how can we make AI safety videos using digital avatars or replications of people? And it progressed from there. And so now we're branching out, taking some of my material I've used for decades and beginning to transition that into more modern, engaging material using AI technology. And that's what Caleb does, our video production director.
Awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, you'll see a lot of businesses out there, maybe not even just in this space or in the safety space, using AI for creative work. That's amazing. Yeah, definitely streamlines that process and makes it a little bit
Right.
quicker.
So just to give you a quick example, is that what we'll do is, in safety, you've got tons of just generic safety videos that have been around for decades or years. And so we will help a client take a basic orientation training video or PowerPoint presentation, and Caleb will take the AI technology and transition that into an engaging video with a personal avatar with a person from that company. And so what it does is it gives them an opportunity to be personal in the video, update things easier, and also it's a multilingual. So if you've got a multilingual workforce, now you have an AI avatar that's real life, not just a cartoon avatar, but not like the blue people in the movie years ago, but an avatar that speaks and acts and has the mannerisms of the actual person and with multiple languages. And so what it does is that AI technology allows us to take old school stuff and make it more engaging in a learning environment that fits today. And so we're taking that, and not only, I know I'm rambling. If I get off track, you want me to pull back, I will. But I get excited about this AI stuff because I think I believe it's the wave of the future and how we communicate, and being able to utilize technology to help us communicate faster and more effectively is cool. And so that's why we Caleb and team are developing a course to be able to teach people how to do what we do.
That's great. Yeah, that's amazing. You guys are using AI to do that as well. I think it's something that's definitely valuable for a lot of businesses out there. Like you said, are dated and have these dating training videos or safety videos. They can use AI to update that. I like that you mentioned use it for multilingual as well. I didn't think about that. That's a good use for that.
Right.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
and
can imagine me speaking Chinese or Korean. That probably can, in a deep James Earl Jones kind of voice. That probably kind of put put in a good example for you.
right. Yeah, that grabbed my attention. I'd be paying attention to that video. That's awesome. And what's kind of been working well for you guys, and what's been frustrating in terms of your business?
I think the frustrating part of business is trying to keep up and being able to manage a schedule as well as trying to get work and do the work. I think that's the biggest challenge as a small business owner is where do you begin to scale up and utilize resources versus doing a lot of the work yourself. So I think that's the biggest challenge I face. I think obviously during the COVID years, it hurt our in-person training business, but that's where it also gave us the opportunity to expand and provide staffing support for companies. So in other words, we can hire temporary safety professionals to work on construction projects. So it's funny how when one door kind of closes and you hit an obstacle, if you just keep pushing, you'll find another door that sort of opens. And so that's kind of my philosophy. I call it following the current. I know what direction I want to go, but the current can take you in some different paths. And so that's really between the AI videos and staffing on construction projects. That's really where we're pushing long term.
Awesome. Would you be able to dive a little deeper into how you're actually helping these businesses and maybe the reason why?
Right. So in the safety world, usually you may have a safety manager that works at a facility, or if you have a smaller facility, you have nobody with the title, but there's tons of OSHA requirements people need. So one of the things that we do is we provide that training and services that a company may not have. So we'll come in and provide that service. Now, we also do safety leadership training because it's important for people to know how to lead safety. And so we teach people how to investigate accidents, analyze different negative events. We teach people leadership skills and how to lead their teams and their crews in a safe way. And so that's one of the services we provide, along with audits and things of that nature. The other service we provide is, for example, we'll have construction projects that need a full-time safety person, but construction is temporary. So a lot of times they don't have an in-house person that can do it. and I have a lot of resources or connections I've met through the years. And so I will connect those dots. I'll find somebody that's in between jobs, and I'll take a client and help supply that safety person for that short-term duration. So that works out well. And then I think the third thing is really just the AI side, where we're teaching people how to use AI effectively, whether it's through AI avatars and videos, to safety campaigns, promotional material, to just being able to help them video and create communication methods for standard operating procedures. So we're expanding communication capabilities with a little creativity and new school look.
Awesome. And with these businesses that you're helping in these construction companies, why go to you? Why rather than fixing it themselves, why go to you guys?
A lot of times people they're busy and they need some expertise in the subject matter expert in certain areas. And so it's amazing how, if you can take something off of a client's plate that is stressful to them and
Yep.
is something that's aggravating to them. In other words, they know how to do it, want to do it, but the time constraints make it difficult. If I can
Yeah.
fill that gap, or my team can, that adds value. And a lot of times, a lot of employees would like to see somebody different from just the people they see every day. So it's important to be able to provide a new face. Sometimes that extra expertise will grab their attention quicker.
Awesome. Yeah, I like it definitely that you're adding that external expertise and being able to provide a new set of eyes on the issue they're having, and rather than them having to spend their busy time that they'd be spending running their business, you can jump in and help them out there. I like it a lot. And in terms
Absolutely.
of in terms of peak safety, what are your guys' goals for growth in the next 6 to 12 months? What are you guys trying to achieve for your business?
So at the end of each year, what I will do is I will kind of assess where most of our business came from in the previous year. So in December, early January, we will take peak safety's profit and loss and look at where things divide up. Are we heavy on the training side, auditing side, staffing side, or video side? And then we will look at that and look at what clients that we're working with more consistently. And then we'll pick 3 or 4 of those items that were successful in 2025 and really press hard on those going into 2026. Now, with that too, we'll recognize some of the things that are more innovative, that require some more startup type efforts, and sort of take some chances there. So that's kind of the way we'll do that. And going into 2025, the video production is going to be heavy. The teaching people how to do videos, not just delivering a product to people. We want to show people how to do what we do. That's going to be a big push. Our safety leadership packages are going to be a big push, with root cause analysis classes and safety leadership for supervisors. That to me, that's the key. And we can make a bigger impact when we're developing other people. And so we can produce things, we can deliver things, but if we can train trainers, whether it's creating videos or leading safety, I think it expands our influence across the board.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely important for you guys. I mean, if you can train these businesses that you're already helping to help themselves, and that definitely take some time off your plate as well to focus on the overall growth of the business. And if you
Right.
don't mind me asking, why grow? Why not stay where you're at? What's kind of your motivator to grow your business?
It's going to sound like a weird analogy. I think about it's like when you go to the gym and you're working out. If you put the same plates on that bar every time you work out, you feel defeated. I like to add plates to the bar, and so I think about a business like that. If I level out, I feel like I'm losing. I enjoy the pursuit and the push and the improvement. And so one of our key values is to make sure you enjoy the trip as much as the destination. And so to me, the trip is, I have to have somewhere I'm going. So to me, adding to the business, it's not about numbers as much as it is being able to expand and push and develop.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely don't want to plateau and stay where you're at. It's always important to keep growing and make sure you're doing better. Else you might get bored, right? You might not want to do the
That's right.
business
I get
anymore.
bored. I'm not a maintainer. I have to build. If I'm trying to get faster, I want to get faster every time. If I want to get stronger, I want to get stronger every time. If I'm building a business, I want to increase our influence in the marketplace every year.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely that entrepreneurial spirit there. I like it a lot. Well, that almost wraps us up for today, but I was wondering before we go, what's the biggest lesson you've learned along your journey as a business owner, entrepreneur, president, consultant that's helped you become where you are today?
I think the underlying thing that has helped me is number one, I have a very clear idea of what my role is. My goal is to pursue what's in front of me and follow the current. My goal is second is just to put in the effort and really dig and grind. And then my overall goal and satisfaction comes by just knowing that God kind of handles the results. So as hard as I pursue, as hard as I work, that's my responsibility, and then I just leave the rest up to God, and that's kind of what's brought me to where we are today. If you look at more tactical in nature, I think you can't give up. You got to always keep pushing with the things you know you're good at, and be willing to look at other things to grow. And so if my core is doing training and speaking, that's where I want to push, but I have to be willing to do anything else as well on the side to be able to support the business and revenue. So, I have a focus on my skills and my preferences, but I also have I guess vision for the things that I need to do just to support those things. And as one outweighs the other, we follow that current and move on.
Right.
I
I
know I'm
like
kind of
it.
speaking generically, but ultimately that's kind of the way we choose what we do next.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I like that you mentioned that God controls your business and what you do and the results that you see from it. I think that a lot of people try and pave their own path and make it their own way and do what they want, but at the
Right.
end of the day, it's God's plan. He's gonna do what he wants and he's gonna do what's best for you. And I think it's important for a lot of business owners and people that
Sure.
are entrepreneurs as well is to have faith within their business and be able
Right.
to align that with their faith and rather than their own ambitions.
Absolutely.
I like that you mentioned that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about, I mean, I have my role, the effort and the pursuit, but results are not up to me. And the other thing is you can't let failure stop you because when you start a business, I hate to say it, but I feel like if I do 100 proposals for clients, my win rate is around 50 to 60%. So I'm failing 50 to 40% of the time. So I can't let that deter me. I have to you just get up there and keep swinging. And I think that kind of relentlessness helps in the long run.
Right.
And again, keeping in mind who's in control and just pursue what's in front of you.
Right. Yeah, you can't give up when you make mistakes or when you fail. You just gotta learn from them, keep going. But hey, 50 or 60% closer, that's pretty good. I'd say most people would be pretty happy with that. It's good for you guys.
Yeah, well, we're blessed. We've done business with over 275 different companies, and we've been in I think 26 different states and across the country. And so we go anywhere, do any support any way that we can. And so the schedule stays pretty busy, and it's a matter of just making sure it's an effective schedule that generates some revenue and that we support and provide a good service for clients.
Of course. So it looks like you guys are doing well there. So but before we go, where can people find you? Where can they find Peak Safety? Where can they find David Lynn?
They can we're on LinkedIn. You can look at David Lynn on LinkedIn. We have a big presence there. We have two websites. We've got our peaksafetyperformance.com website, and then we have our peaksafetyproductions.com website. And so on the production side, you can see a lot of the things that we have produced, what Caleb and team have produced. And some of it's free, some of it's through a subscription membership fee. But that's one of our best resources right there. And then obviously on our performance website, you can see some of the other things that we do. And David.Lynn at Peak Safety Performance, that's my email. So reach out. if you're interested.
Awesome. I hope people do it, and I hope you can help them with their safety needs. That's amazing. Well, listen, David, thank you so much for being on today. I think you provided some amazing expertise and insight into a totally new industry that we haven't touched before in the podcast. And I thank you for your time.
No problem. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.